Welcome, friends. Welcome to today's Reconsider It live stream. Best live stream you're gonna see all day. live stream. You are gonna get a very nice hour of some improvised live looping that is all from vocals. We have the beginning of a beat here. There's still a lot of empty slots I'm going to be filling in. I'm going to be building up this beat. We're going to bring in the synth. Synthesizer is not connected to the loopers, but we're going to have that too. We're going to talk about whatever we talk about. Man, it's going to be such a good time. It's called Tinkering in the Studio. My regulars know what it is. If you are new to the Reconsider It Live stream, welcome! You made the right decision joining us. We want you here. I see right now in the chat, we have got the man himself, the great and mighty, the singular right now. Reverb's still on. Right now, my friends, while we're in this phase of just having the foundation of a beat, the beginnings of a beat, still in this phase of synth still has its cover on it, man, we're just getting warmed up in this warm-up phase. I have a need. I have the need to celebrate. I need to celebrate whether you are here with us live in the chat, or you are here with us live but you are not in the chat, or you are here with us after the live, you are watching on replay. However it is that you are here with us, thank you for being here. I am going to celebrate you at this time in this way. I have got my drink. I am going to count to 3. I am going to clink the screen. You are invited to join the rest of us as we cheers along and celebrate our togetherfulness. It begins on 1. That's good. That's a good place for the count up to begin. You're with it. You're with the whole everything that's after 2. Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes, it's coming to the build-up on 3. Clink. Cheers, my friend. Oh man. Ah, that's good. Please like this video. Please subscribe. I could use some subs. Mang. That's like the word bang with an M. Mang. Friends, we have got a tinker stream on our hands, which is really good fortune. You might even say that is fortuitous. My regulars know what's going to happen over the next hour or so. I'm going to be building up more of this beat. There's a couple empty slots I still need to fill in. I'm going to start with the percussion almost right away. I'm going to add more percussion elements into this. We're going to bring in the synth as well. Man, it's going to be such a good hour. We'll talk about whatever we talk about. Something comes through the chat. Something comes through the chat, that is. So as I say, I'm going to build up the percussion more now. We got the two kick drums. Got this shaker thing. I'm going to add my patented, metronome shaker. I'm going to add a snare clap type of thing. It's going to be really good. I'm getting caught up on the chat right now. And I see with us we have War. over on Twitch, I see joining us we have Please correct me on the pronunciation. Groddles? Am I pronouncing that correctly? And on Twitch, Groddles asks, hey, this is pretty impressive. Do you also write and record songs in classical way, or are you always improvising? These days, it's pretty much just improvising. I have historically written songs. I have some albums. In the back, you can see I have a few physical CDs that you can find on Bandcamp. Look for Reconsider It, and also the name Conscious Object. I also have a rap crew, and that's all rap, by the way. Welcome, Groddles, by the way, learning. I pronounce it correctly, Groddles says it's good. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, I also have a rap background. Those are all rap albums. But these days, yeah, just stream, almost exclusively streaming and improvising. I mostly operate off of YouTube. I'm looking for a synth voice that'll sound nice to play around with. This one has like a distortion. If I hold the key down, it like auto distorts itself. I'm trying to figure out how to anti-do that, because otherwise I like this sound. I get caught up on the chat. Here on the YouTube side, I see joining us we have I see also oh, dope. Viral let me know in the chat here that he received a package that I mailed him. Nice. Yeah, Viral actually bought that CD. I'm gonna grab this once again. I should make these easier to grab during a stream. All right. I got it. So, in the past couple streams, I've been promoting that recent interview I did with Symptoms of Reality. If you've not seen that, it's a 2-hour interview we did where we talked about 4 of the songs from this album of mine. Closure by Conscious Object. We talked about 4 of my songs from here. The lyrics, the rap, what was my thought process, all of this. We had a good time with Symptoms of Reality. Tone Smith was there. Tone Smith was part of it. We did another song of mine from another album. In any case, the reason I bring it up now is that that's what Viral's talking about over here. Because he bought this album after that interview. It says, next level sandwich bag action. I sent him all sorts of stickers and stuff. I think, Viral, did I send you these 2 as well? I think I might have sent you both of these or one of these. There's these other 2 stickers that, this one's great, this one here. Look at this. So there's this one. Then there's this other one. this other one here, this mean-spirited jerks are people too. There was one show where somebody bought 25 of those. I was selling them for $1, and someone came over and it's like, oh, this is great. Let me get like a ton of them. How many you got? And I'm like, I think I had like 27 or 28 or something. And then she just gave me $25 for all of them. I was like, okay. I think that's probably the most stickers at once. I think I can confirm with certainty that is the most stickers at once that I've ever sold. In any case, so I sent that. I have some other albums as well. These are solo albums. These are both EPs. This one is called Inclusive. This is me producing in Reason. It's weird. The beats are weird. This is not the looper stuff that you're hearing right now. The beats are weird on this. Let me just be straight up with you about it. But there's also 2 beats by 2 other producers. This includes that song Dark Is Back, if you know that one. If you don't know it, don't worry about it. That's also in that interview with Symptoms of Reality recently. Look for the Third Ear, numeral 3 RD, Third Ear with Recon. Here's this other solo EP of mine where I produced the whole thing in Reason, Propellerhead Reason. Sidestep, this one's called. Both of these are on Bandcamp. They're on Spotify if you want to listen to I've also got a few of these left. This group here, this is my rap group, Outside Voices. It's a little hard to read, I realize. Our album Overture, this is our second release. You can find this one on Bandcamp too. And don't look for Outside Voices on there because you're going to find a bunch of other bands. Look for OV Crew. That's it, just OV Crew. Outside Voices Crew. That was us. This was our second and final release we did. This group has the best story ever. You may or may not have heard this story. I'm going to tell you the story in a second, but I see there's more chat for me to get caught up on. But I see in the chat that Warheart was asking. Sorry, Warheart, looks like you asked us like 15 minutes ago. But Warheart says, would I recommend this Hydrasynth here, the Hydrasynth Explorer? Would I recommend this as a first synth? Is it all digital or what? Viral responded right away and said, yes, it's digital and it's a great first synth. This is my first synth. I never had a synthesizer before this. And I never really played a keyboard, you know? Transposing keys and stuff. What's this? What are we doing? F sharp today? Or no, F major, sorry. We're doing F major today. If you were to rewind a few months, I'll be like, okay, I wouldn't really know what that means. I still don't really know what that means. But I've learned a lot. So anyways, what I'm saying is, I have had a great time with this as my first synth. You don't need to go playing around with the knobs and things. You could just power it on and start playing, and that's it. You're done. But if you want to go diving into things, they are there to be delving into. So yeah, I've had a great time with it. Would I recommend the RC505? The answer is totally. Before I forget, I'm going to tell the story of Outside Voices. Unless there's more chat. Let me see about the more chat here. There's a bit of a discussion around Inky Fest. Looks like Viral is going to be in Inky Fest. Warheart says, what's Inky Fest? Inky Fest is part of the Hardware Jam community. If you're not familiar with Hardware Jams, that's another good place to start. The Hardware Jam community is a YouTube/Facebook community. And there's some Discord as well. By the way, if you're a Discord person, friend me on Discord. Just reconsider it. Friend me on Discord, and I'll invite you to my Discord. We have the usual kind of stuff you'd expect in a Discord: meme channels, jokes, and whatever, and music-based channels. We have some philosophy discussion channels, persuasion, which is a topic I keep meaning to bring back to the streams. Certainly my music, when I'm going live, I post links there and stuff like that. So anyway, Inky Fest. What's Inky Fest? Inky Fest is from Inky the cat. If you didn't know Inky, she was part of the Hardware Jam community, which is just an online community of hardware musicians, all synthesizers, no DAW, no digital audio workstation, no computer. And Inky was Cresshead's girlfriend. The two of them were together. If you don't know Cresshead, he's just another like prominent community member. And unfortunately, we lost Inky like if it was 1 year ago or 2 years ago, but it was in the winter, Northern Hemisphere winter, I believe, if I recall correctly. And so this is just like an honoring of Inky. And so mad people are submitting, I think it's a 15-minute set, and they're just going to have mad songs for like 2 or 3 days. There used to be an annual festival like this anyway, and it's just being rebranded now as the Inky Fest in honor of Inky. So if you run around in these circles of YouTube musicians, anyone who's in my chats or my comments, most of them are part of this community. All these musicians, you should check them out, by the way. If you find all the people in my chat, Cornish, Viral, Warheart. So you see a lot of them talking about Inky. That's the story behind it. Not a very, maybe not the one you were hoping to have heard, but there is an inspiring element to it. Warheart says, I'm just getting into this stuff, and I subbed to Hardware Jams. Nice. That's a good place to start. There's another one that, if you want the advanced onboarding, another one that's a good one to sub to and join their chats is the Pro Synth Network. The Pro Synth Network has a lot of, the grandfathers of this whole scene. A lot of the, very active heads are present there. You'll meet a lot of people. Pro Synth Network, that's a good one. I love all the discussion happening right now in the chat. Even if you're watching on replay right now, you can still see the chat live replay. There's a lot of cool discussion happening now where Cornish and Viral and Warheart are talking about synths with each other. I love that kind of stuff. By the way, maybe this is a good time to talk about this, but I am considering a reformatting or rebranding of my live streams. Because what I'm finding it has mostly evolved into is a lot of tinkering type stuff. The way that I run this stream which is just, I have a beat, I have part of a beat, I build it up along with you, we see it grow together, we talk about stuff, we talk about whatever comes up, kind of structureless. And that's what tinkering in the studio traditionally has been, bringing the synthesizer and all that. And I'm thinking about my aspirations, what I would like this channel to be for you. I would, to whatever degree possible, like this to be a nice, warm hangout where you feel welcome and you can chat with some people you recognize and you're familiar with about whatever, synthesizer stuff we're talking about today. Sometimes we talk about whatever else. You see familiar faces. Oh, I haven't seen you in, 3 months. And I'm here making the music and and talking and stuff, but this is more like your virtual bar, your virtual hangout. So I'm thinking about rebranding my live streams all together like that, and just saying some sort of virtual hangout space. And then some days it will indeed be, more, I don't know, looper and synth and chat focused. Other days, maybe I'll do some instrumental stuff. But I won't call them different streams, is what I'm thinking. I'll just call them, I'll put that in the description, or I'll put it in the video title, the stream title, rather than having these 4 different categories of streams. I'll just have streams, which are your virtual hangout. Come hang out with your friends and feel together and feel seen and be welcome. We want you here. P.S. It's either instrumental or whatever. So I'm considering all of this. You might see this in the coming, I don't know. This may or may not happen. I'm still in this thinking about it phase. But if so, you might see that pop up in the next, I don't know, couple weeks. I see there's a discussion in which an NPC just came up. I see Viral doing his NPC streams when he goes kayaking or he's in the skate park, just making some NPC beats, and I'm like, man, that looks fun. I've never used an NPC, but I think I might have an okay time using one if I did. I'm interested. I don't think I'm gonna get one because I already have enough stuff here, but I'm interested in it. I am interested in a finger drumming type of device. So an NPC, I don't know. Long term, maybe. Right now, I don't intend to get one, especially because I'm planning to replace this bottom looper here. Planning to replace this with a new MK2. That's already going to be enough of a gear addition for now. I'm so inspired still when I see the chat, all the cool discussions going on related to different hardware synths and all this. I see also we have joining us, Habe! And Habe, am I pronouncing that right? Habe? Habe says, can I remake the instrument from The Boneless by Steve Aoki? The answer is I absolutely cannot. That's one thing that I am very forthright about, and I'm happy to be forthright about it right now, is that as a live looping artist, I am not a cover artist. I don't, remix songs. I'm not saying this is like a philosophy where I've drawn a line in the sand. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's not a skill I have. And I also don't do the wild sound effects and things. I can't remake things that I hear. Maybe I could if I were to work at it, but I don't currently as I speak in this moment. All I do and all I ever really offer and all I claim to do is this organic improvisation, or if not improvisation, then certainly with just whatever organically comes out of me as I'm performing it. So no, I cannot remake that. Warheart says, I'm going to put this on the screen even. Warheart says, Recon sounds like Recon. Yeah. That's all I ever claim. And I realize that's not always obvious. Many artists do indeed do covers and such. And honestly, that's a pretty good approach. That's how you get attention. That's how you get people liking you. And then you're like, haha, now I'm going to slip in this original. Whereas I always took the other approach, which was just like, here's the fire hose of unique originality without first resembling something you're already familiar with or comfortable with. And some people love that. Some people are like, woo, this is very unique. And they love my stuff. For other people, they're like, this is not reminding me of something I'm already familiar with. I'm like, right, isn't that good? Isn't that what you want? They're like, no, I want to be reminded of something I'm already familiar with. You're like, And I guess I never prioritized resolving that gap. Alas. This is the kind of stuff that I would want or wish or hope to carry over across incarnations, so that in a future incarnation I don't have to repeat these same I don't know if you could exactly call them errors, but like ignorances. What do you call that? When you make, I guess, foolishness. That's what it is. It's foolishness. When you take an action you take the wrong action out of ignorance, and then you have like negative consequences because of it. As a bigger artist topic, I think about that like, oh, here's these life lessons I've learned, and how I would want them to persist across incarnations, so that I don't have to suffer this foolishness again in future incarnations. And that reminds me, I haven't thought about this in a while. I haven't thought about it extensively in a while. It may have crossed my mind. But from many years ago, when I was first beginning doing art of any kind, which I would say began with poetry. Maybe that's my most core native tongue when it comes to creative expression. But I remember having intentions of establishing my art, my creative expression, whether it was poetry or later lyrics or music or whatever you may have. It could be a positive contribution to, the company you work for. But whatever your contribution is, whatever your creative contribution is. I was thinking about my art at the time. And I remember thinking that I wanted to have such dope lyrics, or whatever other, music, song, whatever. But I wanted to have such dope lyrics that they would be embedded within the the collective creative library of the human species. Just like, nowadays I can go to the library and get some, Mark Twain, whatever. It's just, my work is available to be found externally. That was the key part of my intention. I wanted it to be available externally so that in future incarnations I could find it and be like, wow, this resonates with me for some reason. I'm not sure why I really resonate with this. And then receive it. And then say, oh, this just saves me, decades of hardship. So that was something I used to think about. Doing these acts of creativity that would outlive my physical existence and be available to be found in the future by a future me. Eventually I generalized that to just be other people who would benefit from it. I just want to externalize these life lessons for other people so that they can save decades of hardship. They can be saved from decades of hardship. Viral says, recon on the MPC would be dope. I think I could do pretty well on it. I don't know exactly how it works, but that's what I'm saying I would learn. Going back to my uniqueness, Warheart says, in the most honorable way, Recon sounds like Recon. Cornish says, he's like no one else, and that's refreshing. That's one of the things I've always heard people say, that I have this uniqueness. What do they say? Dance to your own beat. Would you walk your own path? I don't know if that's a thing, but dance to your own beat, that kind of thing. It's not exactly trailblazing. I'm not claiming to be a trailblazer. But yes to original, first principles creativity. So anyway, I promised you the story of Outside Voices, my rap crew, which, again, this is our album Overture by my rap crew Outside Voices. This one is not on Spotify and everything, but it is on Bandcamp. Look for OV Crew. So here's a story with Outside Voices. This is such a fun story. That's a bunch of guys, a bunch of rappers and producers, actually. We had 3 producers and 7 rappers. A bunch of rappers and producers who we were just always at the same shows in the local scene. One of us was always performing and the rest of us were always there, or 2 or 3 of us were performing, or all of us were just stacking the whole lineup or whatever. But we were always out, this group of 6 or 7 of us. We were always collaborating on each other's songs. I would do a verse on this guy's album and they would go do a verse on his album, and all of this. And at one point, one of the guys, one of the producers, his name is Everyday, spelled EVARIDAE, Everyday. He's a producer, and on these albums, he also became a rapper all of a sudden. He's this multi-talented genius. He did our artwork. That black and white poster you see in the back there. You can't really get a good view of it on the stream here, but he designed that. It's a pretty interesting visual. Anyway, this guy Everyday, our producer, one day he was like, listen, we're always hanging out, we're always doing stuff, we're always, doing shows, collaborating and all this. We should just do like a hip-hop supergroup. And he was already organizing all sorts of like, what did he do? How many rappers? He got like 18? Was it 18 rappers he got? From my city, from my area? And he put on this like cypher series. Where he made 6 videos, I think that's how many it was. 6 videos, 3 rappers on each video, where we all came in and did like a 24-bar verse or something? Just verse, and then a different video with a different beat with 3 different rappers, verse. He was organizing all sorts of stuff like that. And one day he just got this like really tight group of guys where we had been, as I say, for years and years doing shows together and everything. And we were kind of the core crew who was still there, still in the scene, still live, still putting out new music. And he just said, hey, why don't we all just go, make an album? And over some holiday weekend, whatever it was, what is it, Labor Day in the United States? Early September? He got us a cabin, like a cabin in the woods for us to use. And there were 8. There were 8 of us. 6 rappers and 3 producers, but one of them was Everyday, who was a rapper and a producer. So it was really just 8 of us. But we all went out to the cabin. We didn't get service. There wasn't even, a bathroom. There was electricity. And that Saturday, we drove out there. It was deep in the woods. There wasn't a road there. We drove the car. I mean, one of the guys, not me. I wouldn't have taken my car on this. It was a path in the woods he drove his car in. And there was a point in there where, man, I don't think I've told this story before, but this story is in the lyrics of our first CD. One of the guys wrote this in the lyrics. But we had to build a bridge out of rocks so that he could cross his car over it. We got to a point in the path where there was just this huge gap. It was not a small gap. It was like a deep, maybe like a foot deep or something, I'm not sure, but like a hole in the road. And so we had to all, find rocks and things and build this, I don't know what you call it, not exactly a bridge, but we like filled in the cavity, so to speak. And then he drove his car over it, and I was like, oh man, I would not have driven my car over that. Oh my goodness. But he did, and it held. And then he drove all the way. He got to the cabin. And then was there another car that came? I thought later there was another. Oh yeah. Anyway, we got there on Saturday. Saturday, like what, noon? Something like that. And we just started writing at that point. The producers brought their beats. There was 3 producers worth of beats. And then they picked out the ones we were going to use. All right, we start writing. And that's it. And we spent all of Saturday just writing an album. And that was our first album. And then on Sunday, we recorded it. That was the cool part. A recording engineer we knew came out. And he brought mics. He brought his equipment. We got interesting acoustics because we recorded in the cabin. And we recorded the album on Sunday. And then we came home on, was it Monday? I forget if we came home Sunday night or if we waited till Monday. But that was cool. That was our first album. That was 6 songs. That was an EP of 6 songs. And then we had this one. This one called Overture. This album. So that was really cool. That was more of like, we took a couple months on that one, that second album. That's a full album. Abe asked once again about the make the sound of the instrument for Boneless. The answer is no, I cannot. I am not capable of doing that. Corner says, can I do Bohemian Rhapsody with a tambourine only? Probably not. Maybe that's something I could develop the skill to do. Bohemian Rhapsody with a tambourine only. I don't know. I don't know how long that would take. I don't have that skill readily at hand. How about that? Viral says, what an awesome experience. Yeah, I know, right? Outside Voices was awesome. And that's why our name is Outside Voices, by the way. We didn't have a name when we went out to the cabin. But one of the guys there, like we were talking about possible names, and one of the guys there brought that up, Outside Voices. That was Liquid Form. He's one of the rappers on there. He's great. He's hilarious. He's such a fun character. He brought up Outside Voices because that was some old band of his that never wound up happening. He was going to use that name, Outside Voices. So it was this unused band name. And he's like, this would make a lot of sense because here we are out in the middle of the woods. There's nothing for very far around. Outside Voices. And everybody was like, yes, that is the name. It was good. It was a good experience. I like that kind of stuff. I would like to be part of some kind of group like that, or some kind of band, or some kind of something. I think that's where I function best. I have the most creative freedom when I come to my own, YouTube channel and I improvise whatever, anything, regardless of whatever it sounds like. I have a lot of creative freedom here, but to make like really dope, awesome, jaw-dropping music, I really got to be, working in with a couple of other people, all mutually complementary, all of our strengths, and then we compensate for each other's shortcomings. Being in a group like that, I love that kind of stuff. So I'd like to do that someday. I'd like to be the rapper, or a rapper, in some group. I don't necessarily consider production to be my strong suit, but lyrics and live performance, yes, those are strong suits of mine. Cornish says he can join in the band with his triangle. That's good. I am on board with that. I'm also on board with filling in more of this beat because there's still one more loop over here that I gotta fill in. So let's see what's happening with that. Okay, so this is right here. chat. We got Marco! I see there's also so much chat that it's gone off the screen. I don't even know what's going on right now. There's some kind of discussion around children, including Cornish saying that he has a 2-month-old. I didn't know you just had a child. Cornish? Wow. Now, presumably, am I reading the room correctly here? Am I reading the conversation correctly? At this time, I should be saying congratulations, correct? That's like, when Cornish, when you say you have a 2-month-old, I should be like, congratulations! Right? Like that's the sort of, that's the conversation we're having, is there? I can never tell. But I also, by the way, I see that Lang has joined us. Lang says this particular track should be called Reflected Intentions. Woo! 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 Reflected Intentions. It's got a lot of wavy reflectedness. I'm gonna try something. Are you ready for this? This is like the peak of trying things. As I was saying earlier on the stream, I'm considering reformatting, rebranding the live streams. Instead of being 4 different live streams as I have them now, I'm considering, even though you're going to see this at the end of the stream today, I'm going to put up the menu as usual, and you're going to see the 4 different streams. I'm considering rebranding as just like your virtual hangout, your virtual like bar to come hang out with your pals and maybe meet some new people too. And by the way, at this virtual bar, at this virtual hangout here, there are different types of shows you might see. It might be a structureless tinker stream like today. It might be instrumental. But I'll put that stuff perhaps in the video title or the description rather than calling them 4 different types of streams. I forget why I brought that up again right now, but I did. How you like that? That's pretty nice. That's pretty well done. There was something that just came up that reminded me of the rebrand, the live stream rebrand. I remember why I brought that up. Because I was looking at the chat that Lang brought in. that, what was it, reflected intentions? Yeah, Lang said this track should be called Reflected Intentions. And that reminded me that I was considering, like, what should the name be for the rebrand. That's why I brought all that up. And Reflected Intentions sounded interesting. I also thought there was a stream a couple days ago. I forget who it was who said this. If you're here, take credit, please. But somebody said ocean yodels. I have a sense of who that might have been, but I don't know for sure. Ocean yodels, when I say people's names and his mad reverb and everything. So I was thinking about that as a possible rebrand. But whatever the rebrand is, I want it to sound like the comfortable place where you feel welcome. So I still have to think some more about what the rebrand will be named. But we'll see. Thomas says, now I have to try to sing and play the synthesizer. That I can see in the future, because I'm already at the point where I can play the synthesizer while manipulating the looper, or loopers, plural. And that was a goal. So I'm already at that point. I'm at the point now where I'm building up little by little my raps, my freestyles. That's much slower to be built on the streams here. I do a lot of practicing off the stream, but on the stream I do not freestyle rap as much as I'd like to just yet. So that's coming, but as that slowly builds at a much slower rate, there will eventually, I expect, come a day where I can freestyle rap while freestyling the looping and freestyling the synth. That's my ultimate, did a good job if I can get to that point. And by the way, not just that, but also like make a coherent song, not just like random garbage, but make coherent songs out of it. The Recon Variety Show. Pretty happy with this beat, as I said. Beat came out nice. Good stand-up, good construction here. A lot of good. That's just goodness. Imagine all the positive goodness, just all the flooded with goodness. All the goodness that floods you with goodness that's good. It's a lot of good that's good. All the good. I like good. You like good? Please like this video. Please subscribe. I could use some subs. Thank you for being here today. It's so much better with you here. I hope to see you in the next live stream. My regulars know that my current live stream setup is as follows. We have different flavors Today we got the lower right flavor, the tinkering in the studio flavor. That's the most unstructured, the pure hangout. You don't know what you're gonna get. Building up a beat together, talking about whatever you want to talk about, bringing in the synth. Man, what a good time hanging out, tinkering in the studio. Join us for some tinkering in the studio. In the lower left, we got unspoken. That's where we build up a beat on the loopers, play around on the synthesizer, but no talking on the mic. All instrumental. Perfect for your instrumental needs. Join us for unspoken. In the upper left, we got loops and chill. Loops and chill is 4 or 5 beats, maybe 6 beats, who knows, over the course of an hour. Looks like a well-rehearsed, pre-written performance. Nope, it's all improvised. The beats, the way I'm arranging the beats, everything, building the plane while I'm flying it. Join us for loops and chill. In the upper right, we got 505 beat making. That's where I build up a beat like I did today on the 505 loopers. No synth, because the synth is not connected to the loopers. And I talk about what I'm doing on the loopers so that you get some technical details like that. Join us for 505 beat making. And whatever the structure of live stream is when you join us next. Until then, please, please have a very good rest of your day today. Please let the rest of your day today bring you all manner of goodness and blessing. Please allow this to enter into your life today. Please experience healing on levels that seem impossible today. Please allow this miraculous blessing to enter into your world today. And I will see you in the next Reconsider It live stream.